Magic the Gathering just announced its next 19 product releases through the first half of 2026, and boy was it a doozy. So in this video we will be breaking down everything they talked about so you're prepared for what's to come, so let's dive into it. Firstly, a couple things that they didn't talk about during this panel include the upcoming Wilds of Eldraine release and Universes Beyond Doctor Who, but that's because they'll go much deeper into those two releases here in the next couple of weeks, so stay tuned. The first thing that they really focused on was the set after Wilds of Eldraine, which is the Lost Caverns of Ixalan. This set will feature the Universes Beyond intellectual property of Jurassic World. This will be similar to how Magic collaborated with the Monsterverse back in Ikoria with cards like Godzilla and King Kong, but this time, mechanically unique cards will be found in set and collector boosters. There will also be 2 Jurassic World themed secret lair drops releasing about the same time as Caverns of Ixalan. The first release of 2024 will be Ravnica Remastered. Cards from all 3 visits to Ravnica will be included in this draftable set, and will even include retro frames for some fan favorite cards. As far as I understand, this set will not be made available on MTG Arena. The next release of 2024 and the first quote-unquote main set of the year will be Murders at Karlov Manor. This will be known as what Wizards is referring to as a backdrop set that basically means they're focusing on the top-down aspect of set design, and Murders at Karlov Manor will play into all the genres and tropes of a classic murder mystery. This release will be set on Ravnica, but won't necessarily act like a normal Ravnica set when it comes to the guilds and typical Ravnica themes. Next up in 2024, we have a new set of Commander decks arriving in March, set in the universe of Fallout. Similar to the upcoming Doctor Who release, a set of Commander decks using the Fallout IP will grace the shelves of local game stores and surely add plenty of wild playables to your favorite Commander decks. In the second quarter of 2024, we will be heading to the Wild West in our next main set release with Outlaws of Thunder Junction. This will be a villain-themed set which combines some of the most infamous villains throughout Magic's past, but in a frontier fantasy setting. Next up, we have yet another Modern Horizons release with Modern Horizons 3. Now, Modern Horizons 1 and 2 shook up the Modern format with their incredibly powerful new cards and incredibly expensive price tag, and here comes a third iteration. These Modern Horizon sets have previously priced out several members of the community, as while they are fun draft environments and contain powerful cards, they're usually a bit too expensive for some. However, Modern Horizons 3 will be releasing on MTG Arena as a draftable set. That's right, you will be able to draft Modern Horizons 3 on Arena. Now, what happens with the format legality of these cards on Arena? Not a clue. Universes Beyond will also be featuring Assassin's Creed intellectual property in a brand new type of booster pack called Beyond Boosters. These boosters aren't draftable, but rather simply feature a beloved world, and these Beyond boosters will be the vessel in which Assassin's Creed will be delivered to you, and these Assassin's Creed cards will become modern legal. Next up, in the fall of 2024, we have our third main set release of the year with Bloomburrow. Bloomburrow is a humanless world full of anthropomorphic animals. You will see all sorts of animals as the main characters, with various weapons and outfits. It's sure to be one of the cutest releases in Magic's history. Following Bloomburrow and closing out 2024, we have Duskmourn, House of Horror. Similar to Innistrad and New Phyrexia, Duskmourn will feature a horror-themed set contained entirely within a giant haunted mansion. We certainly have a stark transition from the adorableness of Bloomburrow to the scary setting of Duskmourn, that's for sure. As we get into 2025, things become more vague. This is because this is so far out in the future that things could change between now and then, so most of these releases have been given code names based around sports, like tennis and volleyball, but let's see what's on the docket as of now. 2025 will open with Innistrad Remastered. This release will be similar to the Ravnica Remastered set that opens 2024, and will bring together all visits to Innistrad in one draftable environment. As far as I understand, this set will also not be available on Arena. Our first main set release of 2025 will feature what Wizards is calling a Death Race. This set will essentially feature a huge race between worlds, both old and new. And this set doesn't have a name yet, but here's some attached concept art. Following the interplanar death race, we will be making a return to Tarkir. The idea here is to take all of the best things about Khans of Tarkir and Dragons of Tarkir to combine into this currently nameless set. In summer of 2025, we will be getting another full set release similar to the Lord of the Rings set that is currently out and available, and that is a Universes Beyond crossover with Final Fantasy. That's right, from what I understand, a full slew of products, including an entire draftable set, will feature Final Fantasy IP, including all 16 versions of the game, and will be available on MTG Arena. The next Signpost set of 2025 will be a space-themed set. That's right, Magic has technically never visited outer space yet, unless you count Unfinity, which I wouldn't. But this set will feature many aspects of whatever you would consider to be a Magic set with outer space as the backdrop. After space, we're headed back to Lorwyn. Lorwyn is a plane that has never been revisited before, but one that I'm sure many of you have been clamoring for years. Well, you'll still have to wait about 2.5 more years, but worry not, you will get what you want in due time. That brings us to 2026. That's right, these last two sets won't release until 2026, but here we are. We start with a revisit to Arcavios, which is the plane that Strixhaven is set on, and that's about all we know of this set. They haven't even started designing it yet. And finally, in the spring of 2026, we have the culmination of all of these releases put together in our next Capstone Event Set. Think of a War of the Spark or a March of the Machine type of thing, and that's all we know. We know nothing of the event's details, but that brings us through the spring of 2026 when it comes to Magic's releases. So, which release excites you the most? Possibly a return to Arcavios, Lorwyn, or Tarkir? Or maybe the exploration of a new world in Bloomburrow or Duskmourn? Maybe you're more excited about a Universes Beyond collaboration or what's coming to MTG Arena? Let me and others know in the comments, and stay tuned here to the Daily Draft channel to stay up to date on the happenings of Magic the Gathering Limited and upcoming releases. See you around.